Thank you for joining me on this week's UTRGV TV edition. I am Aisha Palma, and UTRGV TV starts now. On this week's top story, McAllen High School students led the March for Our Lives in the RGV as nationwide protests took place to end mass shootings. Our reporter Jacqueline Arias has more.
All this time, you've watched life pass by.
There wasn't a shortage of students ready to make a difference early Saturday morning, even composing an original song dedicated to the March for Our Lives.
Leaving your trace as you go.
It became such a huge thing, especially because people our age were starting to speak out. And so we saw that, and we saw this as an opportunity. It really inspired us to see people our age, like David Hogg, stand up and talk about what they thought was right.
Education without annihilation.
As you can see, students, teachers, and community members joined the March for Our Lives in McAllen to honor the victims of the Parkland shooting and to end gun violence in the United States.
I think today is a really important day in history, and I hope that it is the last time that we have to get together and revolt in such a way. But it felt really good to be united and to empower each other and to feel connected.
The McAllen March represents the RGV contingent of a much larger movement, as millions marched across the country for gun control.
Today, this just shows the solidarity that us students have, especially with all the stereotypes that are surrounding the millennial age. But at the same time, this march today just shows just how aware we are of what's going on in the world and the fact that we want to make a change with what's going on.
If we don't do anything, it's going to keep happening. And so we need to make sure that we're heard and that we don't stop, telling them that we need change.
Over 500 protesters marched from Lamar Academy to McAllen City Hall, where they shouted their message for all to hear. For UTRGV TV, I'm Jacqueline Arias.
Our very own student media TV advisor, Dr. Nick Taylor, directed a documentary revealing the history of Fort Ringgold in Rio Grande City. I went out to bring you more on the story. This month, UTRGV hosted a viewing featuring the documentary And Then the Soldiers Were Gone, which highlighted Fort Ringgold, an old military fort turned educational complex in Rio Grande City. The documentary was led by Dr. Nick Taylor.
When this project started, they came to me and said, there's a really neat story in Rio Grande City, and we have some money to create an artistic project. We'd like to do a documentary. Do you think you can put that together?
Professor Nick Taylor expresses his excitement in how he came to know about this project. And as they were trying to figure out what had really happened, they found that the story was something that dealt with political entry, with a city trying to fight among themselves and coming together in the end to make something even greater than it was. Just like the effort the city put into transforming Fort Ringgold into a greater good, the CHAPS program fought hard to acquire funding for this project that has not only beneficiated the community, but it helps students at UTRGV expand their knowledge.
The funding is very important. In fact, it all started with a very small seed grants from the university, and we've been able to augment that with other grants from foundations around the state and from endowment money, and that is why we're able to bring that to you today.
The CHAPS program is hoping to not only show this story to university students and the Rio Grande community, but are planning to reach a national audience as well.
We hope to broadcast it on different channels. We're talking about channel 5.2, PBS maybe. We just want to show it, get the story out there. And hopefully this documentary opens doors to new documentaries. Maybe we could tell more stories in the Valley.
All the dedication put into this documentary flourished. Several attendees that were touched emotionally were brought to tears, and many praised the way the producers captured the essence of Rio Grande City. Reporting in Edinburgh for UTRGV TV, Aisha Palma. The McAllen International Museum of Art and Science hosted its annual Brain Day, an event celebrating the human brain. Our reporter Neida Alcantar went out to bring you more on the story.
This past Saturday, people around the valley celebrated Brain Day at the McAllen IMAS Museum, where families were able to study the human brain in a fun, interactive way.
I like it very much because they always introduce new things that have to do with art and science, and they integrate both of them.
Some of the activities offered were creating brain slime, examining optical illusions, and even having the chance to touch a human brain. As part of a collaboration with the UTRGV Department of Psychological Science and the Physician Assistant Program, the co-organizer of Brain Day shares what he hopes visitors will remember from attending the event.
We certainly want to present information that is conveying the science behind psychology and the brain, but we also recognize that people like to do things with their hands. And so all of these various activities that we've designed help them to understand a little bit more about the subject matter.
The UTRGV Department of Psychological Science wasn't the only department that contributed to the event. The Department of Marketing School of Business brought 6 of its grad students to show visitors how EEGs, or electroencephalograms, work on the human brain.
We can tap into brain waves inside your brain and interpret your preferences. For example, whether you like a product best in a green color or a red color.
The effort the UTRGV faculty and students dedicated paid off at the end of the day as parents approved the fun, family-friendly activities.
I want my children to come here and get some information about what helps the brain as well what could damage the brain.
Reporting from McAllen for UTRGV TV, I am Neda Alcantar.
Local coffee shop Grind celebrated 2 years of pouring coffee for the local community. Our reporter Alvaro Ayala brings us the details.
Grind Coffee Company, a locally owned coffee shop in Edinburgh, celebrated their 2-year anniversary on Saturday. Co-owners Sergio Treviño and Marianne Piñon came up with the idea of starting their own business when they learned the ins and outs of managing a coffee shop at their previous job.
Sergio and I became really close friends through high school, and we had always kind of like talked about, hey, it would be really cool to open a really nice community space. I slowly started getting into coffee, and around that time I got a job at Jitters. And I was just working so much that my family was like, hey, like, we see like how much you're putting into like Jitters, like I think you would actually benefit from opening your own coffee shop. And so Serge and I, since we had made plans like when we were younger, we kind of like joined together and we're like, hey, let's do this, let's open a coffee shop.
Their 2-year anniversary had vinyl vendors selling antique records as well as curating the event's playlist off a turntable. Grind also debuted their newest addition to their menu, a cold brew flight sampler, and with every purchase that day, customers got a raffle ticket for a chance to win a coffee-related prize pack.
If I had to like guess, it would probably be like 80% college students, and then 20% would be like lawyers and professionals, essentially.
In the morning, we get more of the business professionals from the courtside, the courthouse, and then at night it gets super packed. It's mainly from UTRGV.
People aren't gonna stop going to college, so eventually, you know, like we've already seen it where people graduate and they come back just because they're like, I'm so grateful Grind was there when I needed to do homework and I needed to like just like really focus. And then we get a lot of new people that are coming in because of the recommendations of prior students. So I feel like it's just like having like that little chunk of people. It's just constantly going to be. It's going to push us to grow even more in the future.
In Edinburgh, for UTRGV TV, this is Alvaro Ayala.
With this week's Sportscast, here's Daniel Galvan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I think I covered all of the time periods that you could possibly be watching this on your computer or at some random location. My name is Daniel Galvan, here with the latest UTRGV Sportscast, and boy, do we have a dandy. Firstly, I'm here to report that our UTRGV football team remains undefeated. Secondly, UTRGV baseball had a super fun weekend. They opened WAC conference play with the 3-game home series against CSU Bakersfield, and UTRGV won the series, winning the last 2 games on Saturday and Sunday after dropping their first game. Now on Friday, UTRGV did lose 8-5, but I'm super biased, so I'm not going to cover that, but I will cover the wins. As far as Saturday and Sunday go, let's dig into it. UTRGV shut out Bakersfield 5-0 on Saturday. They jumped out to a lead off an error in the first inning, then followed up with a homer from Oliver Klausner in the fourth in the second. That certified the win. And you know what else did? Jorge Flores, he pitched a great game, 8 innings, striking out 6 without giving up a single run. He only allowed 6 hits in the game. And they followed up on Sunday. My main man, homie, Coleman Grubbs, got a tremendous 8th inning home run that broke a 5-5 tie. He strode up to the plate, hit a homer. UTRGV ended up winning 6-5. And with that win, UTRGV baseball's record is now 15-10. 15 wins, 10 losses. Now, the two tennis teams also had a really successful week. The women's tennis team played a barrage of WAC teams in the WAC cluster. That's what it was called. They beat UMKC 4-3. They beat Grand Canyon. And then they swept Seattle U 7-0. Now, the men's team, they were also successful. They hosted the UTRGV Spring Break Showdown. They defeated Southern Utah 4-2, Oral Roberts 4-1, and Prairie View A&M 4-0. And they also beat Post Malone. Now, it was a great week. If you're a fan of UTRGV athletics, surely there'll be plenty more to come, plenty more undefeated weeks out of UTRGV. And you know who else had a great week? JP. JP, come over here. JP, come over here in front of the camera. JP, this guy is the guy who edits the newscast. He also holds my teleprompter sometimes, but he's overqualified. I hope he's in the shot because he's much taller than me.
I hope I am.
Here, let me just stand up. Now, JP, the reason why I bring him on is because this past week was this competition called TIPA, which is like where all the different student media groups across Texas go and they compete. And I didn't go this year, but he did. And what did you do?
I actually competed in TV sports writing. Yeah.
And what'd you place in TV sports writing?
I placed first place. I was really surprised. I wasn't really expecting to place. I was just going. It was my first TIPA. It was really exciting, and I made great memories.
This guy got first place, and he's the one holding my teleprompter. I've been to TIPA multiple times. I've never won first place. Last time I went, I didn't even place. I just went there, and I did not do good. You know, I've been at UTRGV for 15, 20 years, have never won. This guy goes 1 year in, wins it all. So, in all honesty, I should be the one holding the teleprompter. JP did a great job. Is there anyone you want to thank?
I want to thank you.
Of course you want to thank me. Of course. Is there anyone other than me you want to thank?
Just UTRGV TV staff and all student media. They're really supportive.
Now, is there any schools you want to call out that you think you can write better TV sports than them outside of the state of Texas?
I better not say any names. I'm good.
Well, JP's my Superman. Reporting for UTRGV TV, I'm Daniel Gavan. He's JP. And good night.
That's all we have for you today. But remember, if you know someone within the UTRGV family that's making a small or big impact in the community or on campus, or if you have a story you would like for us to know about, you can contact us through our social media or email us at utrgvtv@gmail.com. We have community and UTRGV news for you every week. Until next time.